It's episode 31. Episode 31. A full long month's worth of little insights into how to live long and prosper. And if you haven't done so already, I'm just going to ask you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, click on the notifications bell so that you don't miss, it's usually about there, I think, so you don't miss any of these broadcasts. Today we move from Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the last habit being habit 7, sharpen the saw, to the buzzsaw of accelerated learning. You need to learn if you're going to sharpen the saw, but if you use accelerated learning, everything changes. And the model of accelerated learning I use is adapted from my first book, The Accelerated Trainer. So we talk about accelerated learning. It's slightly different because I've learned more since that was first published. But it spells the word message, and message stands for mind state. It was mindset in the original book. Mind state because it is a brainwave state where you can learn things much more quickly. Then that's the M, the E is entrance through the 5 gateways of the senses. Then we share ownership. True accelerated learning, as indeed all true learning, is the co-creation of understanding, not the consumption of knowledge. So we share ownership and then eventually switch ownership as the student takes control of that learning. Second S is store. So we use memory devices like mind mapping and mnemonics and initialisms to really put Velcro on the key points that we've co-created together, so that they're sticky, but they haven't stuck yet. We'll get to that in a minute. Then we move into the A of message, which is designed to build confidence on a level with your growing competence. So what we do is we act on what we've learned so far so that you catch yourself doing it right and you go, I've got it, I've got it, I've got it. Once you've got that confidence, then you can apply your competence. How many amazing, competent people do you know who don't take action because they doubt themselves? They might have imposter syndrome or some other lack of confidence that stops them from being the amazing person that you can see they are. The G is go again, which is another memory phase where we go again over what we've stored enough times to move it from short-term electrical memory to long-term permanent memory, and that's where the habits come in. When it becomes second nature, when it becomes part of you, when the word becomes flesh, when you live the learning, like we talked about living our legacy, when you live the learning, then you will change. You will be transformed by that renewing of your mind. And the final one is to do with the future. Sometimes you see me wearing a Star Trek badge. I've been doing the live long and prosper. The last word is engage. And what we need to do is we need to go into your future and come back with a vision of how you could use that learning in the future so that you're motivated and mentally set to look for opportunities to apply your learning so that you learn from it and earn from it, learn from it and earn from it. So let's begin with M for mind state. Learning things at a much, much faster level means going back to being like a child, not childish, but childlike. And we know that children spend most of their early years in a brainwave state that's dominantly theta. So the accelerated learning state, when you take in things very, very quickly at an accelerated rate, is an alpha dominant state. So beta is the adult, frantic, what am I going to do now? Very distracted, very busy state. Relax the body, focus the mind, and you get to an alpha dominant state. Relax still further and go inside and integrate your learning. You have a theta dominant state, and go zonked out to heal your body. You get the delta, the deeper stuff, but we won't go in there. So for accelerated learning and accelerated acquisition of any information, perhaps in a networking meeting, you need to have a relaxed body, an alert mind. It's a bit more than that. It's a focused mind. And here's one of the most interesting problems that every human being faces. Your unconscious mental capacity is practically infinite. We remember everything we ever paid attention to, and quite a lot of the stuff we never paid attention to but were exposed to. And that influences our beliefs and our behaviours and our decisions. But the fascinating thing for me is that the conscious mind is forced through a sevenfold filter. Some people say 7 plus or minus 2. We have to cope with 7 units of information before our brain goes tilt, overload, or what I call Buckaroo. After the game, if you've ever seen the mule and you put things on its back, and if you put more than 7 things on its back, it'll often go Buckaroo and throw it off. And you and I have had multiple Buckaroo moments in our lives. You go all the way upstairs, and then you go, what the Buckaroo did I come upstairs for? And to remember what you came upstairs for, you go down a couple of steps, you go, yes, airing cupboard. I was going to get some fresh towels. The mind, the conscious mind, is highly limited in its bandwidth. Thus, to finish today's message then, if you want to begin to sharpen the saw so it becomes a buzz saw, you have to get into the right mind state. And to do that, you need to relax your body, perhaps through a breathing exercise or a progressive relaxation. But you also need to clear your working memory buffer, this 7 plus or minus 2, from distractions. And most adults are strongly distracted. You think kids are distracted? I know most adults are distracted. What I might do is something as simple as write down on a notepad, good old-fashioned notepad with a pencil or a pen, stuff that's going through my mind, so that I park it. And then I would think about, what do I want to learn from this, so that I focus. I clear the buffer and then focus. Can be that simple. It can be more sophisticated. I use mind software, flashing lights and codes into the ears, called binaural beat entrainment. That's an exciting one. We'll have a separate episode on that one, to encourage the brain to rapidly go into an alpha dominant state. But the main thing you need to do is to write down your distractions, clear your distractions, park them. Baggage check in. It's good baggage, check it in. Focus on what you really want to achieve from your period of learning, and then relax body, mind focused, accelerate. That's it for today's episode. In tomorrow's episode, we'll talk about the 5 gateways of the senses. Until then, continue to live long and prosper, and recognize that love always finds the answer.